your mind never stops. Right now, even as you listen to this, there's a process running behind your thoughts. A background program replaying yesterday's conversation. An algorithm calculating tomorrow's risks. A projection engine simulating 16 different versions of a future that hasn't even happened yet. And you can't turn it off. You've tried. Meditation. Distraction. Exhausting your body, hoping the mind would follow. But the moment the lights go off, the machine boots up. Analyzing. Replaying. Predicting. Worrying. Rewriting. Rehearsing. You're not thinking. You're being thought. The machine runs you, not the other way around. And the world tells you this is intelligence. He's a deep thinker. He considers every angle. He's careful. But what the world calls careful, your nervous system calls a siege. Because a mind that never rests is not a sharp mind. It's a mind under attack, by itself. Tonight, we're going to talk about the silent epidemic nobody diagnoses, because it looks like intelligence. Chronic overthinking. What it does to your body, your decisions, your relationships, your life. And the one thing that can finally make the machine stop. Overthinking isn't thinking too much. It's thinking without ever arriving. Normal thinking has a destination. You hit a problem. You consider the options. You weigh the outcomes. You decide. You move. The thought completes its journey, and the mind lets it go. But the overthinker's thought never arrives. It circles. It revisits the same intersection from 17 different angles. It leaves, comes back, leaves again, returning with new data that changes nothing, but restarts the entire process from the beginning. Should I take that job? Becomes 3 weeks of spreadsheets, conversations, late-night pros and cons lists, and at the end, the exact same uncertainty you started with, plus exhaustion, plus the creeping suspicion that if you just thought about it a little more, the answer would finally appear. It won't, because the problem was never too little analysis. The problem is that analysis has become the destination. The thinking itself has replaced the deciding, and the overthinker is addicted, not to answers, but to the endless process of searching for them. Psychologists call this rumination, the compulsive repetition of the same thoughts, with no resolution. And rumination isn't a thinking style, it's a mental health risk factor. Chronic ruminators are far more likely to develop depression, anxiety, insomnia, and heart disease. Not because of what they think about, but because the thinking never, ever stops. The mind was built for short bursts of intense focus, followed by rest. Think, decide, release. Think, decide, release. But the overthinker breaks the release valve. The pressure builds, the engine overheats, and the machine that was designed to solve problems becomes the biggest problem of all. So why can't you stop? Why does the loop keep running, even when you know it's destroying you? Because overthinking gives you something nothing else can: the illusion of control. The world is chaotic, unpredictable, uncontrollable. People leave without warning. Careers collapse overnight. Health fails without explanation. The future is a black box that no amount of planning will ever fully light up. And that uncertainty, the raw, fundamental uncertainty of being alive, is unbearable to the overthinker. Because his deepest fear isn't failure. It's being caught off guard, being surprised, being unprepared. So the mind runs simulations, hundreds, thousands. What if they say this? What if I do that? What if it all falls apart? What if I already made the wrong choice? Each one is an attempt to pre-live the future, to feel every possible outcome in advance, so that nothing can ever catch you off guard. And it feels productive. It feels like preparation. It feels like you're doing something about the uncertainty. But you're not. You're just suffering through every possible future, without the benefit of actually living any of them. Psychologists call this anticipatory anxiety, suffering in advance for events that may never even occur. And the research is staggering. Around 85% of what people worry about never happens. And of the 15% that does happen, nearly 80% of people handle it better than they ever expected to. So the math is devastating. You're spending 100% of your energy preparing for a disaster with maybe a 3% chance of ever arriving. You're paying full price for a catastrophe that almost certainly never comes. And the bill isn't only mental, it's physical, relational, existential. The illusion of control is the most expensive lie the mind ever tells. Because it doesn't give you control. It gives you the feeling of control, while quietly destroying the very life you're trying to protect. Your body cannot tell the difference between a real threat and an imagined one. When you overthink a conversation that went wrong, your body floods with cortisol, the exact same hormone it would release if a predator were chasing you through a forest. When you simulate a worst-case scenario at 2 a.m., your heart rate climbs, your muscles tense, your breathing goes shallow, the same physical response as standing in front of actual danger. Your body is living in a war zone that exists only inside your head, and it's paying the price as if the war were real. Chronic overthinking keeps the fight-or-flight system permanently switched on, and a body that never gets to stand down begins to break down. The immune system weakens, inflammation rises, digestion falters, and sleep quietly collapses. The overthinker doesn't just feel tired, he is tired at a cellular level. His body is worn down from fighting wars that never happened. His system is depleted from answering emergencies that existed only between his ears. And overthinking leaves a specific physical signature: chronic jaw tension, headaches behind the eyes, shallow chest breathing, tight shoulders, a stomach in knots. These aren't separate conditions. They're the body's receipt for a mind that refuses to stop running. The ancient Stoics understood this. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." 2,000 years before neuroscience proved him right. The mind manufactures suffering, and the body converts it into real, physical damage. The damage is real, even when the threat never was. Overthinking doesn't just damage your health, it paralyzes your life. Every unmade decision is a door that stays closed. Every postponed choice is a path not taken. Every "I just need more time to think" is one more day spent exactly where you were yesterday. And slowly, the overthinker's life becomes a graveyard of unmade decisions. The business he almost started, the person he almost asked out, the trip he almost took, the conversation he almost had. All of it buried under layers of analysis that were supposed to lead to action, but quietly replaced it instead. Psychologists call this analysis paralysis, when the sheer volume of information becomes so overwhelming that no decision can be made at all. And here's the cruel twist: the smarter you are, the more prone to it you become. Because intelligence generates more variables, more angles, more what-ifs. And every extra variable doesn't move you closer to a decision, it pushes you further away. There's a famous study on jam. Researchers set up 2 tables in a grocery store. One offered 6 varieties, the other offered 24. The table of 24 drew a bigger crowd, but the table of 6 sold 10 times more. More options didn't help. More options paralyzed. Your mind does the exact same thing. It generates 24 options when 6 would have been plenty. And then it stares at all of them, comparing, weighing, reweighing, until the opportunity expires and the decision gets made for you. By default, by absence, by the clock running out while you were still thinking. And here's the hidden cost. Every time you fail to decide, you reinforce the belief that you can't trust yourself. The overthinker doesn't just doubt the decision, he doubts the decider. Maybe I'm not smart enough to get this right. Maybe I need more data. Maybe someone else should choose. And that erosion of self-trust breeds a dependence on outside validation that only deepens the paralysis. The man who can't decide becomes the man who can't lead, can't commit, can't move. He becomes a spectator of his own life, watching opportunity after opportunity pull away, like a man standing on a platform, watching train after train leave the station, still calculating which one was best. They're all gone now, and he's still calculating. The overthinker's first question is always the same. How do I stop thinking? And the answer is, you don't. You can't stop thinking any more than you can stop breathing. The brain thinks. That's its job. So that's the wrong question. The real question is, how do I stop thinking from running my life? And the answer is action. Not insight, not understanding, not a better framework for analysis. Action. Raw, imperfect, terrifying, unpolished action. Because overthinking feeds on delay. Every minute you don't act is another minute the mind fills with analysis. But the moment you act, even wrongly, the loop breaks. Because now you have real data. Not hypothetical. Not simulated. Real feedback from the real world. And real data kills overthinking the way sunlight kills shadows. First, the 2-day rule. If a decision has lived in your head for more than 2 days, and the stakes aren't life or death, decide. Now. Not after one more conversation. Not after sleeping on it again. Now. That discomfort you feel is not wisdom telling you to wait. It's the addiction asking for one more hit of analysis. Second, the 70% rule. If you have 70% of the information you need, move. You will never have 100. Waiting for 100 is waiting for a bus that is never coming. And the cost of waiting for that last 30% is almost always higher than the cost of being 30% wrong. Third, scheduled worry time. It sounds absurd. The research backs it. Set aside 15 minutes a day, same time every day as your worry window, and every loop gets postponed to it. When the spiral starts at 10 a.m., you tell it, I'll think about this at 6. And most of the time, by 6, the worry has dissolved on its own. Because most worries can't survive being postponed. They need immediacy to feel real. Fourth, physical interruption. When the loop starts, move your body, stand up, walk, 20 push-ups, cold water on your face, anything that forces the nervous system out of the mind and into the body. Because the mind cannot hold an abstract thought loop while the body is under physical demand. The hardware simply won't allow it. And the fifth is the most important of all. Accept imperfection. The overthinker's hidden belief is that a perfect decision exists, And with enough analysis, he'll finally find it. But perfect decisions don't exist. Every path has a cost. Every choice has a trade-off. Every door you open closes another. The goal was never the perfect decision. The goal is a good enough decision, made in time. Because a good decision executed today will always beat a perfect decision executed never. Your mind is a tool, the most powerful tool a human being will ever hold. But a tool that runs with no hand to guide it isn't a tool, it's a hazard. You were given this mind to solve problems, not to manufacture them, to navigate life, not to simulate its worst possibilities on a loop, to decide and move, not to analyze and freeze. The thoughts will come, they always will, but you don't have to follow every one of them into the dark. You don't have to chase every what-if into a cave with no exit. You don't have to honor every imagined disaster with the full weight of your attention. Some thoughts deserve your energy, most don't. And learning the difference, learning to let the unnecessary ones drift past without grabbing them, may be the single most important skill a man can build. Stop thinking about your life, start living it. Because the man who thinks about everything does nothing. And the man who does something, even the wrong thing, is already 10 steps ahead of the man still deciding which way to face. So move. Now. Imperfectly. Incompletely. Courageously. The machine can finally rest the moment you give it something real to work on, instead of feeding it shadows. This is OBSCURA. Clarity through darkness.